friends, welcome back to Room 237, and I have another Christmas-themed horror film. Actually, more of a musical comedy, but it has zombies. And this is one that I've heard of. I actually went out and bought it, and then saw that it was on Hulu. But I'm glad I bought it, because I would definitely be proud to have this in my zombie collection. But it's the 2017 British film, Anna in the Apocalypse. And I don't remember who the reviewer was, but on one poster it says Shaun of the Dead meets La La Land, which it definitely is. This film was wildly entertaining. I had a lot of fun with this. Now, before I get into my review, it was directed by John McPhail, who, I'm not sure what else he's done. Looks like a more so independent films. And screenplay was by Alan McDonald and Ryan McHenry, but it was based on a award-nominated short by McHenry called Zombie Musical. It has mostly unknown actors, which I like. I like when movies have more so unknowns, especially in a movie like this, where the dialogue is so well written, the humor is very witty. It loses its star power, and it makes it more relatable. But the lead, Anna, is played by Ella Hunt, who I've seen her in Intruders. I've seen Intruders, the Spanish film from 2011. Also in Robot Overlords. She's on TV, Cold Feet and Dickinson. People might recognize the headmaster of the school. He's played by Paul Kaye, who I guess is in Game of Thrones, which I haven't watched. But he plays Thoros of Myr. Probably mispronounced that. Along with Malcolm Cumming, Sarah Swire, Christopher Laveau, Ben Wiggins, and Marley Sue, and Mark Benton. That's basically our main cast. And it only made $670,000 at the box office, but it got really positive reviews. It was released in the United States through Orion Pictures and Vertigo Releasing in the UK. Now, I'm a big fan of zombie films. I did a zombie movie collection video, which I've got more since then. I did a zombie marathon. I've been meaning to do a top 10 zombie film video for some time. But even I can admit that the zombie genre has gotten really stale lately. I mean, every so often there's like a big movie that revamps its popularity. But towards the end of the 2000s, beginning of 2010s, with the popularity of The Walking Dead, it was just an onslaught of non-stop zombie movies, Hollywood and in the independents. All of them more or less formulaic than the last. I will say since then, Train to Busan is one of the best zombie films I've seen ever. It's what World War Z should have been. I did do a review for that. I know there's the spin-off, sequel, whatever, called Peninsula, which I'll get to at some point. But every so often there has to be a movie that has something original to it that makes it stand out from just the sea, the bottomless pit of zombie films. And this is one of the most original ones. Yeah, there are parts of it that are very much Shaun of the Dead. There's even scenes that are very much like Shaun of the Dead, or even themes. But even though I haven't seen La La Land, well, I haven't seen High School Musical either, but the first act is like High School Musical. And I mean, by musical, like, it is a big musical number film, like something you see on Broadway. Like, someone starts singing, then everyone in the room, like, choreography, backup dancers, background dancers, huge numbers. Music and lyrics was written by, let me find it, Roddy Hart and Tommy Riley. Even though show tunes usually isn't my kind of music, all the songs in this were very catchy. I like the lyrics to all of them. They really fit the mood, the atmosphere, the story. The only one I'll say I didn't like, which also has to do with the singer, but I even thought all the singers did well, except for the Nothing's Gonna Stop Me Now song by the Headmaster. That's really the only one I didn't like, but I did like all the songs. I'm not a big fan of musicals as a genre, but there are some I really enjoy. And the ones I do like, I really, really like. Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd. I've seen an older version other than Burton's, and I like that one too. I know Burton's based on the Sondheim Broadway. South Park movie counts. Nightmare Before Christmas, one of my all-time favorite films to begin with. I even have the soundtrack and the cover soundtrack. Never been a big fan of Grease or Hairspray or, again, High School Musical or anything like that. But this is the perfect mix of being a musical, but also being just a genuinely funny, witty movie, but also taking itself very seriously. It does have its tender, serious moments. Great characters. I liked all the characters, except for the one that we're not supposed to like. Well, I guess two. The headmaster and the kid, Nick, who's like the asshole. It's not super Christmassy. I think it's one of those more incidental Christmas movies. Like, it just happens to be set around Christmas. Even though there is like a Christmas pageant, but... And also, it is gory fun. Yeah, some of the kills, there's a lot of CGI. But I was having so much fun with the movie and the characters and everything else that the CGI didn't bother me. A lot of times, if the movie isn't there to back it up, that's where I'm like, yeah, CGI was terrible. But the CGI was also, it blended with the practical enough. I thought it was still serviceable. Yeah, that Nick character. Him and the headmaster, I guess, we're not supposed to like. I thought the headmaster was a good villain. I just didn't like his song. And basically, I believe it's set on, it is Christmas Eve. Or like right before. It's the Christmas season. The girl, Anna, she's about to finish high school. Her dad, who is a widow but also the janitor of the school, he has high hopes for her to go to this university. She's a great student. She can be very successful, but she wants to take a year off to travel. Breaks the news to him. He's driving her and her best friend, who she works with, and he's secretly in love with her. He's friend-zoned. And so they have a fight about that. They get to school, and we're introduced to the other characters. And the first song is about, kind of being stuck in a rut, having a breakaway, kind of foreshadowing a mundane life, wanting something to be exciting, kind of like the beginning theme of like Shaun of the Dead. And Hollywood should take some notes, because this character, Steph, played by Sarah Swire, this is how you do a character like that. What do you mean? Well, she is the lesbian character, and yeah, she's a journalist. She is trying to get some stuff past the headmaster, trying to reveal some stuff. But they don't go full agenda pushing with her. She was actually probably my favorite character. She was one of the funnier ones, one of the more interesting ones. They do, you know, her whole character isn't just I'm a lesbian. They make a character out of her. So Hollywood, take notes. She is probably more of what Kate McKinnon could have been in Ghostbusters. Granted, it would not have saved that movie, but would have helped her character. So yeah, this is how you can do a character like that. Make her interesting, but not make it this SJW, whole thing. And then there's this other couple, Lisa and Chris. Chris is an aspiring filmmaker and horror movie fan. She's a singer in the Christmas pageant. And the headmaster is named Savage, and he's a savage. I thought he looked like John Glover from Batman and Robin, the scientist. He's super tyrannical, and he's running the Christmas pageant. He has disdain for all his students, especially her and her dad for being a janitor. You get the idea he's been walked on his whole life, but now he's in charge, which is kind of what his song is about when he finally snaps. And then this guy, Nick, he's like amongst the popular douchebags. You get the idea they had a one-night stand together. He bragged about it. She won't speak to him, but still likes him. So our group of characters, Anna, Friendzone John, Steph, and the couple, feel like they're stuck in this rut. That night is the night of the Christmas pageant. Chris wasn't able to go to see his girlfriend sing. He was with Steph, filming some stuff at the soup kitchen to help, get some news out there about something. Anna and John are working at the bowling alley, and that night, a zombie apocalypse or infection starts to spread. The night after work, they have like the Hollywood romantic scene of laying in the snow, making the angels, talking about life with her and John. And then the next day, there's a scene like Shaun of the Dead, when he wakes up, goes down to the store, and there's a zombie apocalypse around him, but he's so hungover and in a routine that he doesn't even notice it. Here, her and John have headphones in. They're singing the song about a brand new day. It's a brand new day. While there's all this zombie violence and behind her going on. And that's where the comedy is. I thought that was very funny. There's even a scene where this mother, knocks over her baby stroller, runs off or gets attacked, and then when we see it again, there's a zombie down below eating the baby. And I was just like, holy fuck, wow. Her and John, eventually their singing leads them together at the cemetery, which is by a playground, oddly. That's when they see a zombie. She kind of lures it, and there's the seesaw, and she pushes down on it, comes up. Nice shot from behind the zombie, knocks the head off. Tarantino, geyser of blood. And John lets out this girly, scream. Thought that was funny. Yeah. Also, it was funny, he's saying they're zombies, she's saying that's not true, and he's like, oh yeah, because that's completely normal. And we just see the head, groaning and on the ground by itself. They decide to go try to make it to the bowling alley so they can, I guess, barricade themselves. Steph and Chris are already there. Another employee that was there the night before, she's a zombie. There's a group of these party guys that are still there. They fight them off with all these creative ways that utilize the bowling alley setting. Like, John grabs 2 bowling balls, hits them together, pops the head. They smash heads with bowling pins. They actually bowl a ball down, knocks the zombie off its feet, even slides into the pins, and then the thing comes down, decapitates it. So they have fun with, you know, the whole. It is like Zombieland, you know. It's, you know, I like that they're in a bowling alley. They do creative deaths with it, and yeah, I would say the seesaw death, decapitation, is the most CGI looking part of it. So then they decide they have to get to the school because I'm guessing, I don't remember if it says or not, but while the pageant was going on, some of the people got left behind, including the headmaster, the girlfriend Lisa, Chris's mom, Anna's dad, the janitor, a couple other parents and kids. They're stuck at the school. Chris's mom has a bad heart. Lisa wants her to get help, but the headmaster has like a very, he's doing like the villainous constant whisper kind of lines. So they decide they have to get to the school. There's like an inflatable wading pool full of balls at the bowling alley. And I think it's John that says, "I have the best idea ever." Then it cuts to them outside. They're all walking under the pool, and Steph is like, "This is the worst idea ever." They can sense zombies are around, so they just like drop. And then it's funny because Steph is like sitting there, and you see someone like sitting on her while they're under the pool. She's like, "What the fuck?" And they actually use their cell phones for smart things. Like, Chris sticks his cell phone out, takes a picture, and like shows her. Then it was funny because Steph is like, Chris is like, "There's an old lady sitting on your face." She's like, "Oh." I thought that was funny. And then we hear like a sound like water hitting plastic. She's like, "Is she pissing?" Toilet humor, but I thought it was done well. And there is some real witty humor in this, like when Anna and John, before the apocalypse starts, and they're working at the bowling alley, and there's all the Christmas guys partying and drinking while they're bowling. Anna's like, "Christmas is becoming my least favorite C word." And then John says something about his sweater, which is like an ugly Christmas sweater with lights on it. He's like, "Cool sweater." And she's like, "Yeah, wearing that, you look like a total C word." I don't know. I thought this was wittier than a lot of other comedies. Or at least comedies as of late. I mean, I've always been a big fan of British humor to begin with. I have a whole Monty Python collection video. And then, of course, that's when we see the kid Nick and his friends. They've been looting. And then he does a song about he's a man's man because he steps up to kill these zombies. And we see them kill some zombies. They get to the school. There's some more cat and mouse. We see the headmaster is snapped and really wants to kill like her and her, you know, because she's always doing like journalist stuff to try to expose him for something. She's always cocky and condescending, but also her dad's the janitor, so therefore they're way below him. They have to split up, go their own ways. Oh, and by this time, John's already been bitten. He does a heroic thing by like hugging Anna and like walking through a horde back to, and then throwing her out of the way, then letting the zombies take him. They talk about their issues, about the one night stand and how she trusted him. He's an asshole. His dad's in the military, but he had to kill him while he was still human because he got bit. She has to go get her car keys because they were confiscated at the beginning of the film. And I thought this was a funny scene. They have to get into the headmaster's office, but there's like all these zombies around. So she has to like sneak her way by. Gets in his office, has to look through the confiscated bin. And so she finds a backpack. She puts useful stuff in there. Like she finds a bottle of vodka. She's just like, okay. And then she pulls out a vibrator. And literally just her reaction, I thought was so funny. Just this, whoa, like throws it. The Chris and Lisa couple try to help her. They get bit, so they stay behind so she can get away. And she goes to her car. They end up in the gym where the Christmas pageant is still set up, but the headmaster Savage has her dad tied up. And, well, actually earlier in the film when they first get to the school, he like locks them in a room, hits his whistle so all the zombies will see them. And that's when he does this, I've been pushed around my whole life, now nothing's gonna stop me now kind of song. I don't think he's the best singer, and it is the shortest song of the movie, I will give it that. It was my least favorite, but I thought everyone else was very capable singer, dancer. They all did their parts very well. And she does that, one of the last songs, like give him one hell of a show, sort of like a showdown between her and the headmaster. She kills several zombies, gets up to her dad and Savage fight. Dad gets the upper hand, but ultimately decides not to throw him to the zombies or completely beat him up. But then Headmaster isn't grateful for his mercy, goes to attack him. Now, earlier in the film, well, there was like a rehearsal for the pageant. Someone tripped over a rope or whatever, and there's like this big Christmas star. And when the rope got undone, it came undone as like swung out. So here, Anna triggers that. So the star comes down, hits Savage, does like a stage, knocks him off the stage. Zombies catch him, and they all like lower him down, and they eat him. You get to see intestines, good gore. Like this movie does have fun with its gore. I would say it probably has around an equal amount as like Zombieland. It's not like an early Peter Jackson film. It's not Brain Dead or anything, but it does have plenty of gore in it. And then, these are our three survivors. Oh, her dad had been bit. They make amends. He tells her to go. Steph picks them up in her car. They drive off. We kind of see other people throughout the movie that have been turned. We kind of see them awaken. Drive off in the distance, and there's like this, it's CGI, but like a Merry Christmas banner floating around. It goes in front of the screen, and then when it's gone, there's like a zombie Santa that screams into the movie. I had a lot of fun with it. Now, would I have checked this out if this wasn't a zombie comedy horror? Which, that's another thing. There's a difference between horror comedy and comedy horror. Sounds like I'm splitting hairs, but there is a difference. Horror comedy would be like Evil Dead 2 or Reanimator. A horror film with a lot of comedy. Comedy horror is a comedy film with horror in it. So like Zombieland or Ghostbusters, something like that. But And there is one poster that says like the feel good Christmas movie of the year. It does kind of feel not quite like a deconstruction of or a parody, but having these big feel good music numbers, while also being a very gory zombie apocalypse film with Christmas as the backdrop, great idea. I think that alone is awesome. I thought all the songs were very catchy. The characters, I liked all of them. Again, except maybe for Nick and the headmaster, but I don't think we are supposed to like them. I really like the character John. He, it is more of like an outsider kind of, not outsiders like Pony Boy, but like a socially awkward sort of reject kind of characters, but they all portray them in such a believable, relatable, witty, genuinely humorous way. I really got into all the characters. Again, Hollywood, next time you want to make like a Black Christmas 2019, look at how she was done. There you go. That is the best way I've seen like a lesbian character done in a comedy in a very long time. At least since in the last decade, where all of this agenda pushing has been at all-time high. So I love the blend of being this High School Musical, La La Land type of show number flick, mixed with a Christmas movie, mixed with romance and comedy, and gory zombie. I will say this is one of the most original zombie films I've ever seen. Would it be in my top 10? No, but it would be an honorable mention. It would definitely be an honorable mention. And again, it is on Hulu. I know I just spoiled the whole movie without saying spoiler alert, but I had a lot of fun with this. I will say, from other zombie films, it is closest to Shaun of the Dead. Again, with the whole mundane life, being in a rut, to even going outside and not seeing all this zombie stuff going on. But it did it in its own way. The direction by John McPhail was awesome. He really knows his way around a camera, whether it's tracking shots or, just really capturing all the dancing or how to capture the violence. Like, I loved that shot of the seesaw death. Back to zombie getting John in the frame, like off to the side. Actually, it'd be more like, sort of, kind of like that. With the decapitation, I thought this was fun all the way around. Not sure what else to say other than that. Great direction, great writing, very well casted. This is also why you can get nobodies. You can get unknowns. If they're good at acting, hire them. You don't need someone just because they're good looking or because they have star power and will sell tickets just because they're in it. This cast, especially as far as, group of friends comedies go, one of the more relatable, funniest, well-performed groups I've seen in a while. And just an all-around fun zombie flick. And it makes it all the more aesthetically interesting and at times humorous that Christmas is the backdrop, because she has this pointy candy cane weapon that she carries throughout most of the movie. But yeah, Annie the Apocalypse, I had a lot of fun with it. Definitely recommend it. Yeah, Annie the Apocalypse. But anyway, thank you for watching.